Hello and welcome to Networkers Home. So today we'll be discussing the difference between two of our essential devices when it comes to networking, that is a router and a switch. So before getting into the technicality, and let me give you an example of how a router and a switch works, okay? How it operates. So consider this as one of your society, okay? So you have one society, there is this link to another society. So it is a kind of a neighborhood, okay? So if suppose you have a parcel to be delivered to somebody who's staying in this society. So how you can connect? So you can connect to your local friend, okay? So the friend who's currently staying in this society is aware of all these apartments. He's aware where a particular person stays in this particular society. So that your friend act as a switch, wherein a switch is aware of a particular network that it is operating in. Now, suppose the same packet, if you want to deliver to somebody who is not part of the same society, but is staying in some nearby society, the exact location you are not aware of. So in that scenario, what is the ideal situation? You will hand over that packet to a postman, correct? Your postman is aware of all the nearby location. So he's the right person when he wants to deliver something which is to a nearby location, not on the same society, but on a different society. So that is how a router operates. So it is basically connecting two different societies together. All right. So now let us understand the basic difference between a switch and a router. So the first point says it is a layer 2 device. The router, it is a layer 3 device. So when we are talking about layers, so we are discussing OSI model here. Yes. So layer 2, where you must be aware of if you are aware of OSI, you must be aware when it comes to layer 2, we have the data link layer. Then layer 3, we have the network layer. So switches operates in layer 2 device. It is a layer 2 device. It operates at data link. And router, it is a layer 3 device. It operates at the network layer of OSI model. Now, whenever the packet is flowing when the encapsulation is happening, the data is traveling from your layer 7 to the layer below. The moment it reaches your router, that is your layer 3, the PDU, that is the protocol data unit, is referred to as packets. And the moment it comes to your layer 2, the same PDU, the packet protocol data unit, is referred to as frames. The packet is converted into frames. All right. Now switch, now let us understand this example here that I have, this topology. So we have a router, okay, which is connected to us two switches, okay. So this switch, this part of the router is operating under the network 192.168.10.0. So this is, you can say it is one network, and this part of the router, it is 192.168.20.0. So this you can say it's operating in a different network, all right. So when I say one network or a one subnet, so that I am referring to as one broadcast domain. So when it comes to switches, it has only one broadcast domain. But the routers, it has per port broadcast domain. What does this mean, per port? Any device that you will connect further to different ports of this router will operate on a different broadcast domain. Understanding that, switches, it is used in a LAN network and it connects different end devices. Now, as we said, this is operating in a single network, in the same network. Suppose you have some end devices. Suppose you have a PC, a laptop, or a printer, and that all of these end devices you want to connect to a single network. So for that, we require a switch. So switch is basically, it is connecting different end device to operate on the same network. That is, you can call it as a LAN network, local area network. Whereas, this is one network and this is another network. So your router is basically connecting two different networks. So when it comes to router, it connects different networks. So basically, it is a combination of LANs, which is WAN, wide area network. So basically, it is used in your wide area networks, right? So as we will discuss, it operates only under a single network, whereas your router, it operates between multiple networks. Now, let us understand a little bit of the packet flow when it comes to switches and when it comes to router. Now switches, the basic mechanism of switches is it captures the CAM. It captures the MAC address of the source IP from the source device, and it updates its CAM table. CAM table is nothing but content addressable memory. Okay, so it stores the MAC address. It uses the MAC address and stores it in the CAM table. Whereas the router, it uses the IP address. Okay, the router uses the IP address and it stores the IP address in its routing table. So when it comes to switches, if the destination address is unknown, okay, so suppose your PC1 is sending some packet to PC2, okay, so if the destination is unknown, if the MAC address is unknown of any device, the switch, the basic mechanism of the switch is it will broadcast to all the network, okay. When it comes to router, suppose PC1 wants to connect with PC3, which is on another network, okay. So if PC1 is sending any packets to a router, and suppose the destination, if the network which the PC1 tries to connect, if it is not a part of the routing table, then the router will not broadcast in this case. In this case, it will drop the packet. So this is the basic difference between a router and a switch. Hope this helps.